Our tagline is print and fill because DTG shirts suck, right? Not the best tagline in the world, but it gets the point across right now. Because my whole mission is trying to defeat $130 million competitor. A lot of people forget when they're branding, beyond the logo is the tagline that goes underneath it. Federal Express. Anybody remember Federal Express's tagline?
It has to get overnight.
When it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. That's what they started with. Eventually they were able to drop it off because everybody knew what FedEx did. You know, once your brand gets to the point where everybody in the world knows what it does, then you can begin to drop that tagline. But until then, you know, you definitely want a tagline. Ours at Platter is Platter, consider it done. So we want to make sure we keep driving that point home that everything is done for you. That brand, by the way, of all the things there, of everything on the brand diamond you saw earlier, what do you think its #1 heaviest motivator was? Ease. It was ease of use. We're totally done for you. You just tell us what you want done. You'll never have to think about it again. It'll get done. Costs a lot of money, but it'll get done. So what's the one sentence you could use to describe your service or product? Then try to narrow it down to 2 or 3 words. What market are your products in? What one reason above all others causes people to buy? What's the X factor? That's the rapid filter, right? Who's buying your product or service? How could you classify the group? Are they college grads, mothers, teachers, business owners? So that they'll understand if you're in a niche market, your tagline can absolutely be in their vocabulary, if that makes sense. You want it to be, in fact, in their vocabulary. If you're selling to, you know, tattoo artists, you could say something that's much different than if you're selling to hairstylists, right? You want to use things that are in their vocabulary. So what do they, who are they? What do they believe? What are the competitors getting wrong, right? This is right now, we have a negative tagline for one of our businesses. So we have a company called Print and Fill that prints t-shirts and ships them, right? We use solid plastisol inks, beautiful stuff, super high pop, right? Our tagline is print and fill because DTG shirts suck, right? Not the best tagline in the world, but it gets the point across right now. Because my whole mission is trying to defeat $130 million competitor. Guess how they print all their shirts? DTG. Do you know what DTG is? Doesn't matter because you ain't buying t-shirts. I don't give a about you. See what I mean? I don't care if you know what it means or not. I care that a person who buys loads and loads of t-shirts knows what it means. And they all do. It's direct to garment. What surprises people most about your approach? You know, what surprises people most about what you do, right? Like you might say, what's the name of your company there? I can't remember.
Your corporate strength.
Your corporate strength.
Shrink.
Your corporate strength, right? The money is in the brain, right? It could be something like that. The money's in the brains, right? Or something funny like that, that's really shocking that people don't think about, you know, that's probably not a good line, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's that everybody thinks about their business in very practical terms. They think about it in, you know, how much are my sales, how much are my profits, how much are my margins, how much are whatever. They don't think about what's between their ears, what's between their staff's ears, you know, conflicts and things like that. They don't consider that. So if that's what surprises them most, maybe that's in your tagline. What would you never want to be associated with? You want to make sure you associate that. You want to make sure that you don't use that in your tagline, but you might even sell against it, like DTG. We went to this one. What do we never want to be associated with? DTG shirts suck, right? What really differentiates us? What do most people normally say that we don't agree with? What gets me so excited about the industry? And what are the biggest risks to our customers, right? So when take these things into consideration when you're writing your tagline, right? But every brand needs a tagline, especially at first. So what's in a name? Playful names, Yahoo Monster, iterations. There are different ways you can come up with your name. Alliterations, Dunkin' Donuts, they're euphonious. Invented names, Google and Kodak were just made up. Descriptive names, KitchenAid, Quick Print, Those are oftentimes where you should start, especially if you're not terribly creative, right? Because you can still have a good brand name by just being direct. Origins, Chanel, Tommy Bahama, which emotes a place, right? The Margaritaville brand is now worth $1 billion. Isn't that crazy? They're saying the brand itself is worth $1 billion. If the company were just obliterated, the brand would be worth $1 billion. Technical names, Panasonic, Xerox, the two X's really make you think technical. Conjoin, Federal Express, Bisquick. That's by taking, that's by taking two things. Bisquick, you want quick biscuits, Bisquick. Acronyms, BMW, IBM, UBS. Metaphoric, Mustang, Virgin. Things that really remind you of something else. Something that you can name your brand after something that automatically reminds people of a thing. Mustangs are fast. They're sleek. They're beautiful, right? There's nothing like seeing a wild Mustang run through an area. Or just random, like Old Navy, right? They wanted to have a vintage feel.